YouTube, what's up, man? This is your guy Manny, and wanted to get on here real quick and do a quick little stream to talk some NBA. But yeah, man, some exciting things going on in the NBA. It's getting real competitive. It's getting to that final stretch. Everybody's fighting right now for a playoff seed, and kind of wanted to go over the standings real quick. This will not be a long stream at all, unless people hop on and start, chatting, and then we start going back and forth. But shout out to the Brooklyn Nets, man. I was watching the game earlier versus the New Orleans Pelicans, and it just seemed like they had a plan. They had the perfect plan for Zion. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to share my screen. I was going to go over the standings, but let me go over the scores from tonight. Yesterday, the Lakers lost. It was a big game for them playing against the Utah Jazz, and they were not able to capture a win. So, like I said, playoffs is approaching. Is approaching. It's less than 30 days away from today. So it's going to be interesting to see who's there, and then seeding is everything. But like I said, I wanted to go over today's games, the results from today. So you have the Clippers playing the Trailblazers right now. I'm actually watching this game, and it's actually a pretty good game. Paul George is leading the way right now with 13 big points. Norman Powell, 17 points. I think Norman Powell gets paid this year. I mean, he's playing so well. So, I mean, he has no other choice but to get paid. Shout out to Norman Powell. Yeah, the Clippers continue to play pretty good ball, man. You cannot fault the Clippers at all. Like, they look good. They look legit, even with injuries. Like, right now, Kawhi, he's out. I don't know what kind of injury he has, but I think they said I think it's his foot injury or somewhere like around his legs or whatever. Don't quote me. But yeah, man, these injuries are just steadily approaching. And, it seems like Paul George and Kawhi has been taking turns with these injuries. I'm not saying that teams are lying, but it's just, how convenient is it that Kawhi comes out and Paul George is in, vice versa. So I don't know. I don't know if these are real injuries. Maybe that teams and players are prolonging when they can come back. That's the only thing that I can think of. Yes, the injuries are real, but if you look at it, people are, it's just a little bit too convenient for teams. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say on that. But yeah, right now the Blazers lead 60-56. The Blazers actually need this game because they're trying to stay in that top six. They're fighting with the Lakers for that top, sixth spot. It seems like they're going to try to pass the Lakers, but they really need this game. I think they are one game behind from fifth seed. So some interesting things going on tonight. You look at the Trailblazers. The Timberwolves. They are tied 74-74 versus the Sacramento Kings. Is there any defense being played? If you look, you see D'Angelo Russell has 26 points at the half. He's been coming off the bench off late. I don't know what that whole deal is. It seems like Rubio is starting, but then D'Angelo Russell ends up getting starters minutes, but he's coming off the bench. So I don't really get the dynamics of what the coach is doing. I don't know. All I know is that the D'Angelo Russell and Anthony Towns pairing has not worked, more so because of injuries. But I don't know what's going on there. Then you got the Atlanta Hawks versus the Orlando Magic. Trae Young led the way with 25 points, 5 rebounds, and 7 assists. Cole Anthony had 17 points, 5 rebounds, and 8 assists. So we're going to look to see where the Orlando Magic rank in the East. I'm pretty sure they're at the bottom. They're not even close to that top 10. We look at the Knicks. The Knicks just continue to win, man. Shout out to the Knicks, man. With a big win tonight, 109-97 versus the Charlotte Hornets. The Hornets now fall to 28-29, The Knicks are 32 and 27, and we're gonna look to see where the Knicks rank right now, currently in the NBA standings. Like I said, the Knicks are playing excellent ball right now. Julius Randle's making a case for All NBA. He should be All NBA. Tonight he had a modest 16 points, 10 rebounds, and 7 assists. He's had more triple doubles this year than any other New York Knicks player in history. Terry Rozier led the way for the Hornets with 21 points, 7 rebounds, and 8 assists. We look at the Brooklyn Nets, man. They just find ways to continue to win. They had 134 points to 129 by the Pelicans. Shout out to the Nets. Kyrie led the way with 32 points, 2 rebounds, and 8 assists. Zion had 33, 7 rebounds, and 4 assists. I think that Blake Griffin did a admirable job versus Zion. I mean, Zion is just a beast. You know, he steps into the paint, he gives you 2 shoulders, and he's right at the basket. So, but with all that great defense that the Nets played on him and taking him out of his comfort zone, he still found a way to score 33 points. Zion is going to be a 30 and 10 guy for a very, very long time. He gets 30 points like it's nothing. He doesn't shoot the ball a lot. And there was a time when they had a chance to tie the game, and Zion drove the ball, and, you know, he pump faked, kind of stripped it, and the ball went off of Zion out of bounds. So those are areas of his game that he needs to improve. If you're going to drive like that, you got to pull up and shoot. You don't have time to drive, pump fake, and then try to shoot the ball. Just doesn't work. So those are the highlights and scores. Well, the highlights of the scores tonight. But I want to look at the standings because, you know, every time I get on and I do an NBA pod or an NBA stream, I try to kind of keep everybody up to date on what's going on and standings and things of that nature. So you have the 76ers. They're still first place right now at 39 and 18. I don't know how they continue to win, but they just continue to win. I mean, I know how they continue to win, but what I'm saying is they've had some major injuries that have derailed them from, you know, really showing their full potential. Right now it's Tobias Harris. That's the main guy. That's the biggest name that's on the injury list, you know. So he's just trying to recover, you know. But I mean, it's not really affecting them. But they do need Tobias Harris because he's I mean, that's a lot of points that he brings to the table. So he's a big piece of what the 76ers like to do. Yesterday, Steph Curry just destroyed the 76ers, man. I mean, I think he had 49 points, and he single-handedly, literally beat those guys. What up, Chef Dre? Man, what's good with you, man? Just wanted to kind of jump on here real quick and just do a quick little NBA stream, man. Hope you're doing good, brother. But yeah, man, the Brooklyn Nets, like Chef Dre brought up earlier to me on Twitter, he was like, you know, he was talking to me about KD. We really don't know what's going on with KD right now. We really don't know how serious the injury is. But my guess is I would say that the injury is pretty serious. You know what I'm saying? But the Brooklyn Nets continue to find ways to win. Right now, they're 39 and 19. They're just a game away from first place with all the injuries. Like tonight, there was no Kyrie. I mean, there was no KD, and there was also no Harden. And Harden had a setback today. He had a setback, so now they're saying that he's going to come back right before the playoffs. So here you are. You have this nice big three, and these 3 guys have not really gotten to gel. These guys have not really gotten to play ball at all, you know, together. Chef Dre said Tobias is the glue for that team, low-key. Yeah, Tobias is really the guy that makes everything work for these guys. Like you said, he's the glue. He's a big piece of what the Sixers do. And I don't see them doing anything. I don't see them advancing anywhere or going far without Tobias Harris. You need what he brings to the table. I think he's playing some of the best basketball of his life. Then you look at a team like the Milwaukee Bucks. Hold on, let me finish up with the Nets real quick. So not only did the Nets lose, you know, Harden and then now KD again, you know, you got LaMarcus Aldridge who had to retire because of the irregular heartbeat. So that's a big loss. So now you got guys like Blake Griffin, he has to step up. DeAndre Jordan, he has to step up. But a guy that's low-key nice on the Brooklyn Nets is Bruce Brown. Bruce Brown had a great game today. He had 10 points, 10 rebounds, 4 steals. But what's disappointing about the Brooklyn Nets is, to me, Bruce Brown is their best defender. But then he's not in the game to close the game at the end. That's kind of bogus if you ask me. But yeah, the Milwaukee Bucks, man, they look solid. They look solid. They're just 4 games away from first place right now. So when you look at how things are structured for them, you got Giannis, you got Middleton, and then you got Drew Holiday. Those 3 guys have come into a groove right now. I mean, those 3 guys are playing some serious ball right now. So I really like the Milwaukee Bucks. I think they have a big chance of advancing to the finals. I mean, I think they got a big chance of overtaking the Nets, because one thing that the Milwaukee Bucks have this year so far is chemistry. They have chemistry. They have strong chemistry. The Brooklyn Nets don't have chemistry. Yeah, these guys have played, USA ball or All-Star games and stuff like that. Is regular season playoff grind is totally different, and Milwaukee has learned a lot from last year, even though they have a whole new team. But I love what Bobby Portis brings to the table for the Milwaukee Bucks. This team is solid from top to bottom. That they just added Jeff Teague, which is a nice veteran from that point guard position. He can come in, score, he can defend when he needs to. So I like what the Milwaukee Bucks brings to the table. You got the Atlanta Hawks. They're an interesting team. They can be really good, and they can be really bad. But I think they probably hang on to this 4th seed unless the New York Knicks do something. But Atlanta is a team, they can score with anybody. Capella is playing amazing ball. Some nights he'll give you 25 and 20. That's just the kind of a player that Capella has been this season. Trae Young needs to take that next step in the playoffs. Let's see what he's made out of. I mean, he was the guy that was traded for Luka, essentially. They're always going to be compared to each other. So I think this is going to be Trae Young's coming out party. If he shoots the ball well, they have a shot to do some damage in the playoffs. But it's not going to be easy, especially if they matched up against the New York Knicks, who is solid from top to bottom. Julius Randle deserves all NBA considerations. If they had a better record, let's say like top 3, top 4 in the East, then you can kind of consider MVP. But I think because of the wins and the consistency, they haven't had both. They haven't had the wins and the consistency that it takes to push a player like Julius Randle to MVP status. But man, he's been playing amazing ball. He's been taking down some serious teams. In the last 10 games, the Knicks are 8-2. Okay, Atlanta's 8-2. Boston is 8-2. So there's some teams that have caught fire at the right time. The Wizards are 7-3. So there's some hot teams right now in the East. The 76ers are 7-3. So yeah, man, shout out to the Knicks, man. I love everything that they're doing. The coach deserves to be coach of the year. Thibodeau came out there and definitely changed the entire dynamics of what the New York Knicks do. You look at the Boston Celtics, they've caught fire at the right time. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart. Their front court still is a little bit shaky. They got Williams out there, but outside of Williams, Tristan Thompson, he's been nice. He's been decent, but he hasn't really given them what I thought he was going to be able to give them. So I think their weakness today still is that center spot. They added Jabari Parker. He's giving them some edge to that front line. They have wings everywhere, but they just need that center that's going to be consistent, whether it's Williams, whether it's Tristan Thompson. We'll see, because right now, as of today, the Celtics will match up against the Milwaukee Bucks. That's going to be interesting. They do have the wings to match up with Giannis Antetokounmpo, but it's still going to be a tough cover. But I do like that matchup. That's going to be one of the better matchups to watch in the playoffs. Oh, I'm sorry. I had it all mixed up. No, I got it right. Yeah. The Bucks do play the Sixers. It's a 3-6 matchup. With the whole new playoff scheduling and all this play-in stuff, it just got me all confused. But anyways, the Miami Heat are at the 7th seed right now. Charlotte is at the 8th seed. Indiana at the 9th. And the Bulls and the Wizards are tied for the 10th seed right now. The Wizards got a big game tomorrow. Steph Curry's coming to town. Steph Curry's been hot. He's been averaging 40 points the last, 10 games. I mean, the guy he's averaging 7 threes a game, almost. Just let that sink in. He's averaging 7 made threes a game, and he's shooting 50%. So he shoots 14, and he's knocking down 7. That's insane. And over this last stretch, he's had multiple games of 10 or more threes in a game. So shouts out to Steph Curry. We're not even on the Western Conference yet, and I'm talking Steph Curry. That's just how good the guy is. So the Wizards have a big game versus Steph Curry tomorrow. So that should be interesting. If they win that game, then that tells me everything I need to know about the Washington Wizards, who have caught fire at the right time on a 5-game win streak. So yeah, man, those are the standings. I don't trust the Pacers. I don't trust the Charlotte Hornets. Now, LaMelo is coming back. LaMelo is coming back from injury, so that changes everything. With LaMelo, this team was a top 4 seed. So let's see if he has anything left in the tank when he comes back. Let's see if he gets back to what he was. They said that the wrist is healed, and he'll be back 7 to 10 days from now. We look at the West. Shout out to Utah, man. Utah destroyed my Lakers the other night. It wasn't even close, man. Utah is a legit team. Granted, they were missing Donovan Mitchell. Lakers were missing LeBron and AD, obviously, but they played like how you're supposed to play. They didn't let up. They didn't say, oh, the Lakers don't have LeBron and AD. We'll go easy on them. Nah, they came out there and hit the Lakers in the mouth and took control of that game and won that game convincingly. So it's going to be interesting to see what both sides look like when they're fully healthy. It's definitely going to be fun. I think these two teams possibly meet up in the second round. So it's definitely a must-see TV second round, Lakers versus Utah Jazz. Utah Jazz need home court advantage. The Lakers don't need home court advantage. Shout out to the Phoenix Suns, who are 1.5 games away from the first seed. They're 41-16 right now. Chris Paul is playing phenomenal. Devin Booker's playing phenomenal. In the last 10 games, they're 8-2. Clippers are 8-2. Denver's 8-2. So those are the 3 teams that are hot on the West right now. These guys are just beating everybody. You look at the Clippers. Clippers are hot. You know, Kawhi Leonard is suffering from injury right now, and he's trying to come back strong. Pat Bev is, struggling with injuries, but what the Clippers were able to do was they were able to bring in a guy like DeMarcus Cousins and Rondo. And those 2 players have been players that have been key and essential to what the Clippers can do come playoff time. So those are two big pieces for the Clippers. Clippers look good right now. As a Laker fan, I'm like, man, But the thing is, there's a potential that both teams can meet in the Western Conference Finals if both sides take care of business. As of today, Denver Nuggets play the Lakers. They're 4-5 right now. 4-5 matchup. You have the Nuggets who lost Jamal Murray. How far can the Nuggets really go without Jamal Murray? That's a big piece to what they do. They just signed Austin Rivers to help. Monte Morris got hurt. Caponzo's out there. He's like a miniature J.J. Barea type guard. So I don't see him doing much. But Jokic continues to have MVP type numbers day in and day out. So they're a very interesting team. They did add Aaron Gordon. They do have Michael Porter Jr. So I don't feel sorry for them. Will Barton, they have more than enough to even get out the West. They have more than enough to beat a team like the Lakers. But at the end of the day, to beat a team like the Lakers or Clippers or some of these, top teams in the league, you need a full, healthy roster. Before the injury happened, I've always said that the 3 best teams in the West was Lakers, Clippers, and the Denver Nuggets. And now with the Denver Nuggets being hurt, maybe a team like Utah or Phoenix jumps into that spot. I don't too much trust Utah and Phoenix right now, just because of how the NBA has gone through injuries this year. I'm not wishing injuries on anybody, but injuries do happen, whether it happens in the early season, mid-season, late season, or in the playoffs. So injuries do happen. I wish everybody well. Let's talk about the Trailblazers, who are playing right now. They need this game. Right now, they have a 32-24 record. You don't want to go 32-25 after tonight and be competing with the Dallas Mavericks. Top 6 teams are safe, and they avoid that play-in match. Right now, in the play-in match, if the season ended today, the Dallas Mavericks are going to be playing the San Antonio Spurs, and then the Memphis Grizzlies play the Golden State Warriors. Or do I have that mixed up? I think I got that mixed up. I think they said the 7 and the 8 play each other. Yeah, the 7 and the 8 are supposed to play each other, and then we'll go from there. Chef Dre said Michael Porter chance to shine right now, make a name for himself. Yeah, this is a time that Michael Porter Jr. can separate himself from the rest. He can go from nice role player to an all-star / superstar based off of what he does in the playoffs. If he comes up big time in the playoffs, he can ascend towards superstardom. I mean, I think the guy has a chance to be special. I'm a big fan of his. I had him in my fantasy league, just traded him for KD. Now KD's hurt. But yeah, I'm real high on Michael Porter Jr., and he definitely needs to step up in order to help that team go to that next level. So I made a mistake. The Dallas Mavericks will play the Memphis Grizzlies in order to have the 7th seed. Okay? Then the 9th and 10th seed play each other in order to gain the 9th seed. Whoever that loses that 7-8 matchup plays the 9th seed in order to get the 8th seed. So it's a little confusing. So 7 plays 8, 9 plays 10. Right? Winner of 7 and 8 becomes 7. Right? Now, the loser now has to battle the winner of 9 and 10 in order to see who gets that 8th final seed. So, guys, I know that was a little bit confusing, but the play-in tournament is going to be amazing. Just imagine Steph Curry in a play-in tournament. You got to win best 2 out of 3. You know what I'm saying? To win or to advance. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. I think this is a format that the NBA should continue to keep. Surprisingly, the San Antonio Spurs have been even keeled all season. Now they have finally fallen from 4th, 5th seed to 10th seed, which is where they always belonged, but they just found ways to win games and stay afloat. And if you look right now, they're 28 and 28. New Orleans, who lost tonight, is 25 and 33. So we'll see what happens there, man. Guys, I just wanted to get on here, do a quick little NBA update on where the landscape of the NBA is right now. Injuries is really derailing a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? Even a guy like Dame Lillard, you know, he's out dealing with a hamstring injury. But Carmelo has been balling this year. You know what I'm saying? So you have injuries all over the place. Joel Embiid just came back. You know what I'm saying? Russell Westbrook went through his thing. Injuries are real. It's just all about, are you going to suffer in the beginning, in the mid, in the late, or in the playoffs? Wish everybody well. If you are a new listener to Talking Sports with Manny, be sure to like the YouTube page, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that way you get content is the minute that I drop it. I do a lot of lives, I do a lot of streams, I do a lot of pods. I got some fantasy football stuff coming for those who enjoy fantasy football tomorrow at 9 p.m. Central Time. Back Row Redskins show. Got 5 guests coming on the show. I would love for you guys to come on the show, comment. Let's all get involved. Let's talk some football. We got some pretty good topics to talk about tomorrow. So that's my time. I love you guys, and y'all stay safe. I'm out. Peace.